Hello everyone. Do you believe that the creepy evil monsters under your bed are real? Perhaps everyone knows a couple of scary stories to tell their friends when camping. Today, we're going to share stories that can make your blood run cold. Are you ready? Then listen up. Paul worked as a cab driver. One day, he finished his shift after driving a client to the countryside. On the way back, he suddenly felt sleepy, so he decided to pull over on the first curb, next to a huge old gate. He stopped and leaned back in his seat. He dozed off, but soon woke up. Someone was shaking his car. Paul felt the smell of burning and heard children screaming. The driver jumped up from his seat and turned on the headlights. He saw a few kids with crazy eyes that were pushing the doors and trying to get inside. They were all in rags and covered in soot. Some even had burns on their face and arms. In terror, the taxi driver started the car and rushed away. He drove all the way to the police station. The officer first decided that the man was drunk, but then noticed traces of soot and hand marks on the car and realized the driver was not lying. When Paul told him all the details and described the place where it all happened, the policeman was stunned. It turned out that the taxi driver was describing the gate of an orphanage that had burned down about 30 years earlier. Are you already feeling shivers crawling up your spine? Wait, there's more. We want to tell you the story of Dan. Girls always liked him, but he couldn't find his soulmate. He dated Helen, but she was too boring. Then Kate, who was funny but kind of stupid. Then Vicky, who was funny and smart but too emotional. Finally, he met Dolly, who had all the best qualities of his exes and seemed perfect. One day, he decided to surprise Dolly and secretly came to visit her. Dan opened the door with the spare key and came in. Dolly was in the shower. Dan decided to just wait, but suddenly, he noticed some notes about his exes. There were pictures, paints, and a flesh-colored leather mask. Dan started to freak out. He couldn't imagine what all this meant. Suddenly, he heard some footsteps. He turned around and saw a shapeless white creature with no face, but he knew it was Dolly. Last but not least, we would like to tell you the story of Max and Nick, a couple of teenagers that lived in a small town. These troublemakers often liked to throw stones at pigeons and rats. One day, Max told his friend that his father kept a real gun at home. Nick encouraged Max to steal it to shoot the neighbor's dog. Max didn't want to at first, but his friend finally convinced him. It wasn't hard to get the gun. After that, the boy took aim and got ready to shoot, while Nick was cheering him. But suddenly, the neighbor came out the door. Max flinched and accidentally shot him in the leg. As a result, the police got involved. But when the boy said that it was his friend that forced him to do all this, no one believed him. According to his parents and teachers, he never had any friends. His classmates called Max a weirdo because he was always talking to himself. If you have some cool, scary stories, share them with us. The best comment may be featured in our next video. In the meantime, give us some likes. This was a true story. See you next week.